It is great. It is a great day. Thanks for the weather.
Oh, yeah.
You always worry about winds and rain.
Oh, yes.
He is in his van.
Great to see you. Hi, guys. Hey, man. How you doing? You enjoying it?
I am. Thank you very much.
How are you?
Great.
How are you, man?
Good to see you.
How to see you, sir? Good to see you.
Good.
How you doing? Yeah, doing good.
Hey, Governor,
You go first. All right, there we go.
All right. Everybody ready for this? The long-anticipated C-43 event that we've been waiting for a while. I'm Drew Bartlett, Executive Director for the South Florida Water Management District, and it's my extreme pleasure to introduce to you Governor Ron DeSantis.
Well, good morning. It's great to be here at the future site of the C-43 reservoir. I want to thank the South Florida Water Management District for hosting us, and I want to thank all the great folks that we have for both the Water Management District and our local officials. I've seen most of them: Chauncey Goss, Chairman of the Board; Scott Wagner, Vice Chair; Alligator Ron Bergeron from Broward; Cheryl Meads, Charlotte Roman, Jackie Thurlow Lipsitch. So that's almost, that's a big chunk of the board. Then we got Lee County Chairman Brian Hammond, Lee County Commissioner Ray Sandelli, new commissioner I appointed a few months ago, and then Hendry County Commission Chair Mitchell Wills. So I want to thank you all for coming and thank for your time. As many of you know, issues around Lake Okeechobee, particularly as it's affected the Caloosahatchee and associated water bodies, have been very, very significant. It's been an important part of our efforts to clean up Florida's waterways and really be dedicated to our Water Resources Project. So this project here is really a comprehensive project that will restore and protect the water quality of the Caloosahatchee estuary. From where we are today, you can see the start of the work on the final $524 million contract to build around 19 miles of embankments and 15 miles of canals that will help bring the Caloosahatchee River and estuary back to health. This 10,500 acre reservoir will store approximately 55.4 billion gallons of water from the Caloosahatchee River, and is expected to be completed by 2023. I want to get it as fast as we can, so if there's anything more I can do, let me know. So during the wet season, the reservoir will store water released from Lake Okeechobee, as well as stormwater runoff to reduce the flow of nutrient-loaded water into the Caloosahatchee. During the dry season, the reservoir will provide a freshwater flow to the estuary to prevent elevated salinity levels that negatively impact wildlife in and around the water. In my direction, the South Florida Water Management District and its partners commenced a study to determine the most effective method to improve the quality of water stored in the reservoir. These partners include our Department of Environmental Protection, Hendry County, Lee County, City of Sanibel, City of Cape Coral, Lehigh Acres Municipal Stormwater Improvement District. I'd like to thank them for their support and look forward to seeing the results of their study put into action. As many of you know, this is yet one additional step in many steps that we've taken since January. Just last week, we were able to get the final piece of the puzzle to deal with some of the leases that had been preventing us from moving forward with the EAA reservoir, which is south of Lake Okeechobee. So NOAA worked on that. We were able to come to terms. Those happened before I got in, and that clears us a pathway for that, which is also important. I also announced that we're going to be pursuing a comprehensive water quality bill based on the results of our blue-green algae task force. We're also going to try to impose tougher environmental penalties for people that pollute the waters, particularly these municipalities. And we're also seeking the same amount of money, record money, $625 million for Everglades and water quality. So we're excited to be here. I think that there's a lot of stuff going on in the state. There's a lot of moving parts, but I think everyone up here is working hard to address the water resources and water quality in Florida. So I want to thank them from that. And I know we got a number of people who are going to come up. So who's coming up first? Is it Chauncey, Noah, then Chauncey? Okay, why don't you go?
Thank you, Governor. What a year, what a week, what a day. As the governor mentioned, just this past week, I'll talk about the Everglades area, the EA reservoir one more time, because it is amazing to me that after this week, what we went from was a position where we're now, with the district schedule, going to complete that project before it was ever going to even begin before. Governor, that is an amazing moment for Everglades restoration. And in the same week, to have the permit issued to remove more than 5 miles of old Tamiami Trail to make sure water is flowing south, and now to see the most important project on the West Coast with dirt moving around us, it's phenomenal. I'd say you don't have weeks like this often, but after the first year of the governor's term, I think we're sort of getting used to it. And before I invite up Chairman Chauncey Goss, I want to mention, in addition to projects like this, again, one of the most meaningful things to all the staff at the department is the governor's forward lean on making sure we're enforcing our environmental regulations, and when we need new tools, giving them us. And so this year, to be able to move forward with the most broad sweeping legislation to increase regulation on the environment, to make sure we're protecting the environment, is tremendously meaningful to our staff. So, Governor, thank you so much. And next, I'd like to invite up Chairman Chauncey Goss.
Thanks. I'd like to start by thanking Governor and Mrs. DeSantis for taking the time to visit us here in Southwest Florida. Secretary Valenstein, Colonel Kelly, our elected officials, our stakeholders all standing behind me. Thank you also for being here. Today, this is just an immense site surrounded by these giant pieces of earth-moving equipment. It all starts to feel sort of real for me, very real. We're finally making progress. Governor, since you took office, it's been a new day for Florida's Everglades. And I know I speak for the governing board and the staff when I say we're all so honored to play a part in this exciting time of restoration. You directed us to expedite this and many other projects that are critical to restoring and protecting South Florida's water resources. And we all know how important the environment is to you and how important it is to the health, the financial well-being, and the enjoyment of all of our residents, not to mention the millions of people who visit our state each year. District staff, under the leadership of our Executive Director Drew Bartlett, they're all working hard every single day to expedite these critical restoration projects. They're going to reduce damaging discharge, and we're going to send more water south. We thank you for working so hard to provide us the resources we need by securing a record amount of funding from the state legislature for Everglades restoration, including the money that's helping us to pay for the completion of this critical C-43 reservoir. We thank you for investing in Florida's environment, which is Florida's future. I grew up at the end of the Caloosahatchee River, just down on Sanibel, and I especially thank you for investing in environmental restoration here on the west coast of Florida. As you heard so loudly, so clearly last summer, this is something our residents have been crying for years. Generations, really, if you ask my father. Today, thanks to your hard work, Governor, we're finally taking very dramatic steps. We're going to dig this reservoir, we're going to complete it, we're going to fill it with water, and we're going to bring its benefits to this estuary that really is the engine for so much of the Southwest Florida economy. So yeah, today it feels very real.
Here he comes.
Okay.
Colonel Andrew Kelly.
Trying to work my way around. Governor, thank you. Yep. Director Bartlett, thank you very much. It's great to be here on this great and actually momentous occasion, as everyone has mentioned. The teamwork that a project like this and something as expansive as this, I mean, you can see it's like all I want to do is paint all these trucks green and have a force again. But I won't, Drew. I promise I won't. So again, it's outstanding teamwork and the partnerships that it took to get this off the ball or get this off and running, and the dedication Florida to prioritize, fund, and get this moving. And this is a very professional, quick, prioritized project. Again, this is a critical element in our plans for a more flexible management of the water in Florida, help a more natural, consistent flow to the Caloosahatchee estuary, and will play a very significant role in the Lake Okeechobee System Operating Manual to manage the lake and the levels for Lake Okeechobee. So this will be a great benefit to that. So thank you, sir. I think with the great partnership that we've established, that we'll be doing this a heck of a lot more often. So I appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you.
All right, Everglades Foundation representative Shannon Estenos.
Sorry, excuse me. Thank you. Good morning, Governor, members of the audience, and speakers. I'm Shannon Estenos. I'm with the Everglades Foundation on behalf of myself, our Vice Chair, Ellen Getz, who's a businesswoman and resident of Southwest Florida. It is a pleasure to be here. Let me first offer my congratulations to the men and women who have brought us to this day. Every Everglades restoration project has important milestones, but in many ways, groundbreakings are the most significant because they are the hardest to reach. And we appreciate all of the incredible work that went into getting us to today. It is an incredible honor to stand up here with you, Governor DeSantis, and the First Lady. Governor, in the less than a year that you've been in office, you have breathed life into the Everglades restoration effort. And you have spearheaded record levels of investment. And days like today are an indication of the kind of momentum that you are building and maintaining for this program. The Everglades needs a lot of big things. It needs investment. It needs political support. But the thing it has always needed the most is leadership at the highest levels. And Governor, you are setting a new bar for what qualifies as leadership on the Everglades. The last thing I'll say is about the reservoir itself. I like to call it the Caloosahatchee Reservoir because I like to think about the river and the estuary more than about a canal named after a number. But but let me say that this is a future-looking investment. The Caloosahatchee is at the economic heart of the communities that have been built up around it. And in that way, it is like so many of the world's great rivers. And it has been suffering for a very long time. This reservoir is about relieving that suffering, and in doing so, delivering prosperity into the 21st century, because the 21st century Southwest Florida economy relies on a living Caloosahatchee River and estuary. Thank you for letting us be a part of today, and we look forward to coming back for ribbon cutting. Thank you.
Next we have from Captains for Clean Water, Captain Daniel Andrews.
It's so exciting to be here. I actually first found out about this reservoir in elementary school in the Fort Myers News Press. It was a headline. I'd asked my parents what it was about. I certainly didn't think I would be at the groundbreaking for it, but it just goes to show without having champions behind this, these projects can stagnate, and we all saw last summer the result of that. So it's so refreshing to have Governor DeSantis' leadership. This project, in the 3.5 years that I've been involved with water quality issues, there's been a lot of chatter in the community. People have been begging for some kind of treatment component to this project, and Governor DeSantis, on his second day in office, put an executive order out directing the district to do that. And I recently attended a workshop that the Water Management District held over in Fort Myers. It was a public meeting where all the participants were so excited to see progress being made, and possibilities for these treatment options. So it just goes to show you, with proper leadership, with a can-do attitude from Governor DeSantis, all things are possible when it comes to Everglades restoration. We're going to continue to see projects. We've seen this reservoir, the EAA reservoir, significantly timeline shorted, expedited. That's what it's going to take to sustain the economy that we've enjoyed here in South Florida for so long. And this specific reservoir is going to help maintain salinities in the upper estuary. The tarpon snook that I used to fish for and make a living off of depend on that upper estuary, and the salinities have been imbalanced for so long. So it's refreshing to see this project actually on the ground with bulldozers out here, and we're looking forward to seeing the benefits for future generations. Thank you, Governor.
Next we have from the Conservancy for Southwest Florida, Marissa Caroso.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Governor. My name is Marissa Carozzo. I'm with the Conservancy of Southwest Florida, and we are absolutely thrilled to be here today to witness the progress being made on this critical restoration project. The C-43 reservoir has been a long-standing priority for the Conservancy, all of the West Coast stakeholders, and everyone who cares about the health of the Caloosahatchee River. This is one of the critical, important pieces of the Everglades restoration puzzle, and we applaud the Governor and the South Florida Water Management District for keeping this forward momentum on reservoir construction, as we are all witnessing here today. This reservoir will provide year-round benefits to the Caloosahatchee by storing water from the watershed and Lake Okeechobee during the rainy season and releasing that water during the dry season when the downstream estuary desperately needs that fresh water. And I would be remiss if I did not also recognize that Governor DeSantis, the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, and the district have prioritized the development of water quality treatment options, as Daniel already mentioned, for the reservoir through the feasibility study that kicked off earlier this year. In the months ahead, we look forward to working collaboratively on this effort because this will help us reduce the harmful nutrient pollution which has fueled toxic algae blooms in the Caloosahatchee over the years. This is truly the time to keep the momentum going, not just by expediting the projects, but by funding the projects. Like C-43 reservoir, like the EAA reservoir, projects that will have far-reaching benefits for our environment, our economy, and our communities in Southwest Florida and throughout the state. Thank you very much.
Next, we have from Audubon, Florida, West McCann.
Oh, thank you so much. I get to be last today. It's an enviable spot. It's good to be the governor. I'm delighted to be here to celebrate this exciting day. Governor DeSantis, First Lady DeSantis, Director Bartlett, and Director Valenstein. I'm honored to be here on behalf of Audubon in this groundbreaking ceremony for the Caloosahatchee West Basin Reservoir. The citizens and the ecosystems of Southwest Florida have suffered from the algal blooms and red tides. We know about that, and we also know that science-based solutions are going to be how we restore these Everglades. Audubon, Florida is grateful for Governor DeSantis' leadership. Audubon celebrates this major step forward on the Everglades and clean water for Southwest Florida ecosystems and look forward to continued progress by the governor and his administration. Thank you so much.
Actually, you weren't last, but last but not least is Representative Dane Eagle.
Well, good morning. My name is Dane Eagle. I'm the House Majority Leader. On behalf of the legislature, I just wanted to be here today to thank Governor DeSantis for his leadership. He took, when he came into office, what was otherwise perceived as a regional issue, made it a statewide issue. He challenged the legislature to step up and put the money where their mouth is and make this one of the top priorities of the state of Florida. Last year, we appropriated over $680 million at the governor's request, making it the most Everglades-friendly budget in Florida's history. That is monumental, and because of things like that, we're here today to put this to rest. This is 20 years in the making. We've got to thank President Trump and his administration. He was here just not too long ago, and he's leading the charge up there in Washington. The governor's listening. Because of the voices of people here, local officials from the top up or from the bottom up are here to help, and it's finally coming. Clean water is on the way. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You got anything?
Yeah, Governor, we're hearing about things being expedited and everything moving along better now. Is there anything in your mind that needs to be sped up or that we could improve on?
Well, our great colonel is here. Where's he at? And so, you know, so we talked about the state piece of the EAA reservoir, which is south of Lake Okeechobee, which is important for the Everglades. And Noah mentioned how we're working to, move forward on the state's perspective. There was a letter that was signed by both Senator Rubio and I think Brian Mast. Basically asking the Corps to to move forward on that, and we've had discussions, and I'm not meaning to put him on the spot, but I know that had just come out, and first of all, he's been great to work with. I mean, they have their organization and the way it goes, and so I think they've been remarkably flexible, certainly different than I think most people dealing with the course. So we appreciate what you've done. But not all of these can just be like, hey, the state does it and it gets done. I mean, there's different levels of government. So I'd say that's kind of the challenge. With it, but I think we have a lot of momentum. We have all systems go on the state level, and I know the folks here in Southwest Florida locally have been begging to get this stuff taken care of. So we're going to be full steam ahead. And look, people I think know, like, if we're going to do something, like, it should not take forever and a day. I know there are different things that have to happen, but my sense is that having things that are on time or accelerated, that when you do that, I think the public really thinks and they have confidence. And so that's what we're going to shoot for across the board. All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Our speakers could just take about 10 steps back for a photo with the governor and the first lady.